Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Berlant with the Fire Situation Report for Monday, September 28th, 2015, coming to you live from the CAL FIRE headquarters in Sacramento. Temperatures over the weekend were down from what they were earlier in the week, but still last week there were 178 new wildfires across California, but firefighters did a great job containing those fires, to most of them to a relatively small acreage, as well as making good progress on the fires that have been burning for the last several weeks in California. As you can see from our statewide interactive Google map, there are 8 active fires burning. Over 3,300 firefighters are battling these 8 fires. I want to start though with one of the fires that was contained over the weekend. This is the Tassajara fire. It burned just over 1,000 acres in Monterey County. This is near the community of Jamesburg. It is now 100% contained. Just to give you an idea, here is Carmel Valley. Over here is Highway 101, Gonzales, King City. So this fire, the Tassajara fire, started last weekend, burned for about a week. Firefighters have kept it, though, to just over 1,086 acres in all contained. Again, this right here, the Tassajara fire, is now 100% contained. On to some of the other larger fires that have been burning for the last couple of weeks now. We'll start over here in Amador and Calaveras counties. That's where the Butte fire continues to burn in Calaveras County. However, most of the fire activity remains within the perimeter of the fire itself. In fact, that fire has stayed 70,868 acres. It is 95% contained. Full containment is expected on this fire later this week. Crews are continuing to mop up those hot spots. There are still hundreds of firefighters on this fire. Now, all evacuations on the Butte fire have been lifted. Residents have been able to return back home. Though this fire was very destructive, the total count now nearly 820 structures, including hundreds of homes, were destroyed in this fire. The county has set up a local assistance center to help those residents whose homes were destroyed, whose property was lost in this fire, so they can begin that rebuilding process. But again, the Butte fire, very destructive, very deadly. 2 people did die, though the fire is expected to be fully contained later this week. We'll move on to the west, and that is where we will find the Valley Fire up in Lake and parts of Napa, as well as Sonoma counties. That fire, the Valley Fire, has now burned 76,067 acres. It is 97% contained. So very good progress made on this fire itself. You can see it started here in Cobb, burned down to the southeast, through Middletown. That's where a lot of destruction occurred, right through this area, Cobb and into Middletown and Anderson Springs, many of the other communities in between. Now, all evacuations have been lifted. All the road closures in Cobb have now also been lifted, so residents now can drive through that area. Highway 175, though, if you are going to be driving it, be cautious. There may be crews working on the roadways. PG&E has been in there in full force throughout Lake County, making sure utilities are back up. There are many areas up here on the Cobb Mountain area that still do not have their utilities. There are still firefighters as well, making sure those hot spots are put out. Full containment of this fire is expected later in the week. There's still a lot of hot spots, though, the crews are focusing on. In this fire, though, 1,958 structures were destroyed. This is the 3rd most destructive fire in our state's history. Over 1,200 homes and other residences were destroyed by this fire. The Lake County itself has opened up a local assistance center as well for those homeowners whose property was destroyed in this fire, to help them with that rebuilding process as well. But again, expect firefighters in this area for the next several days later into the week before full containment of the fire is made. Well, the last fire I really want to hit on is the Rough Fire. This is a fire that has been burning in Fresno County for the last almost 2 months now. You can see here is Hume Lake, really down in the center of it. Fresno itself is into the western area. So far, this fire has burned 150,876 acres. It is now 85% contained. It is now in the top 15 most largest fires in our state's history. So it is one of the larger ones that we have seen this year, and definitely one of the largest ones that we have seen in the past 10 years. So the Rough Fire, 85% contained. This fire is being managed by the U.S. Forest Service. Primarily, it's on the Sierra and the Sequoia National Forest. If you want more information on this fire, you can check out our website, fire.ca.gov. We have a link to their site. So again, Just to recap, 8 active fires burning right now in California. Most of them are nearing full containment. Crews are making very good progress, especially on the Valley Fire that remains right now 97% contained. The Butte Fire, 95% contained. Still 5 fires up here in the northwestern part of California, all these on the 6 rivers, as well as the Shasta Trinity National Forest. These are in Del Norte County as well as Trinity County. Many of them are also nearing containment, but these are some very rural areas. So if these 5 fires have been burning since late June on the 2 national forests by the U.S. Forest Service. So you can still see there is still a lot of work to do. As I mentioned, 3,300 firefighters still on the front lines. I want to switch over right now to some weather that we're expecting this week. Temperatures. This is a chart you can see that shows how temperatures this week are starting to gradually cool down. This is Northern California, Sacramento, Stockton, Redding, and Grass Valley. You can see in Redding today we are going to not even hit the 90-degree mark, so much cooler than where we had been. The cooler temperature, though, going to keep on going until Wednesday, and then you're going to start seeing it go back up. Now, while temperatures are cooler, in Northern California, we are seeing a little bit of gusty winds. That gusty wind combined with the dry conditions, enough to keep the fire danger level much higher than we would hope to see it for this time of year. There is some possibility of some rain, especially up in the Tahoe or the northern part of the Sierra, so we could see a little bit of rainfall. Not expecting to do much, but there is the possibility of some moisture. And then as this chart shows, we are going to see warmer and drying temperatures later in the week, so unseasonable temperatures for sure. Over in Southern California, you can see pretty much the same for the whole week. Much higher than we would typically see in some areas in Southern California. We're seeing temperatures 5 to 10 degrees warmer than they should be this time of year. Now, that along with the low humidity will continue to increase the fire threat in Southern California. But as we move on into Friday and into the weekend, that's when the potential for large fires will increase. So once again, fire risk in Southern California much higher than it should be. Now, there are some potential gusty offshore winds later in the week that's going to increase the fire risk even higher. So be cautious of those winds. Again, if you do have winds in your area, be cautious outdoors because it doesn't take much with the dry conditions, these warmer than normal temperatures, and that wind to really increase the fire activity. So what can you do this week to really remember the dangers? Even though we're in fall started last week, these 3 fires, the Cedar Fire in 2003, the Tunnel Fire in 1991, and the Witch Fire in 2007, what do all 3 of these fires have in common? They all started in fall, and they were all some of the most destructive fires in our state's history. So it's very important that don't let the temperatures, though they are a little bit cooler over the next couple days from what we had seen earlier in the summertime, fool you. Fire risk in fall is just as high, if not higher, than it would be than most people really think. So it's very important if you do live in a wildland area that you still remain prepared during the fall months. That starts by having an evacuation kit. Make sure you know what you're going to take and where you're going to go if an evacuation does occur, because when it comes to ready, set, go for wildfires, go means leave early. That's the key. Make sure you evacuate early when you can. You can find more information on evacuation tips and how you, your family, and your home can be prepared for fire season by visiting our website at readyforwildfire.org. That's the latest on the fire situation here in California. I'm Daniel Berlant. Have a fire-safe week.